Hi everybody, welcome to week 5 of your Nursing Practicum course. Thanks for getting in your NEPD forms. I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing how you're progressing with your practicum, what challenges you're facing, that sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to reading those. All right, so this week our DQ and our assignment are both focusing on learning assessments. In our DQ, we're looking at whether or not the learning needs assessments are valuable and what we might do with that information. So we'll be kind of focusing on that. Some faculty kind of teach the same courses over and over again, and they think that they can teach each section of that course kind of exactly the same, and I really think that's doing a disservice to our students. Even when I'm teaching online, I don't always use like the same class questions, supplemental materials, things like that, because every class really is just a little different. Even online classes have their own personalities, right? And sometimes it depends on the size of the class. I mean, there's quite a few variables. Once I was teaching an advanced med-surg course, and this was in a pre-licensure program at a smaller private college, right? And so I was teaching advanced med-surg, and I had quite a bit of prepared content, PowerPoint slides and some different activities I wanted to do and things like that. And after about the first 2 class sessions, I realized that the students were lacking a lot of knowledge from their previous med-surg class that they should have covered in that class. Come to find out, that instructor really was much more concerned with the students liking them, having easy tests to get good grades, and didn't really give the students the education they deserved. And that person ended up getting fired. But anyway, I ended up needing to actually do weekly study sessions with many of the students just to get them up to speed on the med-surg content each week so that we can go into our class period and do the advanced med-surg content. So you just never know until you start doing some of those formative assessments during class, asking questions, working on a case study, different things like that. Sometimes until you start getting some of that initial information about the learning needs, you just aren't quite sure where your students are at. So anyway, of course, sometimes it's very obvious when you start teaching and all you get is blank stares like deer eyes in the headlights. Then it's a pretty good clue. All right, so I'm looking forward to kind of having this discussion with you about what you think about learning assessments. To be honest, I think too few people use learning needs assessments. And I'm not talking, it doesn't have to be formal, but even just trying to get a feel for where people are at with the content prior to digging in. And we'll share more back and forth this week. All right, now on to your paper. Now, I haven't had any of you reach out to me and say that doing a learning needs assessment was going to be an issue at your practicum site. So I'm assuming that you're all good unless you reach out to me still. So for this assignment, you're going to develop 10 to 20 either open or closed-ended questions. You have some opportunity there. You can do either or. You can do a combination, whatever works best for the material that you're going to be teaching. So you will be giving this to your students, whether they be nurses, patients, college students, whatever, before you teach them. But for this assignment, we're really talking about preparing to give it to your students. So you will be submitting the actual questions. You can just submit them at the very end of your paper. That would be totally fine. Or if you want to do 2 uploads, the paper and the questions, whatever way is easiest for you. And so I'll give you feedback both on the questions and on your paper. All right, so the body of your paper is only 350 to 500 words, so it's a short one. So first you're going to tell me about how you will be administering the learning needs assessment. So it's going to include things like What is the format? Paper, pencil, an online teaching platform like Canvas or something like that. Maybe SurveyMonkey. Whatever the actual mechanism by which the students will receive that learning needs assessment. Will you be able to provide any instruction about answering the questions? How long before you will actually be teaching? So what kind of time frame are you looking at between the learning needs assessment and the actual teaching of the content? Will you actually provide this learning needs assessment to your student learners, or will someone else be delivering it to them at a different point in time, or because they're the only ones who have access to the emails or whatever? Who will actually be delivering the learning needs assessment? So those are the types those are what I'm thinking about for the first topic area under the directions. And then I want you to tell me how you plan to use the information that you will be collecting. How do you anticipate it will affect your teaching plan, or will it? Okay, as usual, you'll need to include some references, and you do need to format them in the APA format. In the announcements, when I announced that your last paper, that I was done grading them, I again included a copy of the GCU's APA style guide that will give you at least some basic information about the references, and then if you need to go to your APA book for something more complicated. But I think the GCU style guide is really pretty helpful for simple little questions. All right, and if you have any questions about the questionnaire you're developing, the learning needs assessment, or the paper itself, of course, just let me know. And I think that's it for this week. I will see you guys in the main forum.